video now.
What's up, everybody? We made it to 2021.
We made it, y'all.
We we made it. Was it good?
We made it. We here, First show
Yeah.
back of the new year, Community Coalition show. We in this thing, man.
Yep.
It wasn't David 2K, man.
What's good? Gang gang.
How's everything?
Everything's good, man. Things are looking up.
Yeah, I think so too. Hopefully. We got to start the new year off like on a positive note.
Right.
I know for me, even just for like your own mental health, you just got to just,
Hmm.
want to feel better. So let's see what happens. But I'm
Yeah.
feeling good right now.
Like I hope that people are like actually like getting their mentals like in check. Like they're starting to. Ooh, what's that going? It's like my bad. The camera was on. Like I really hope that you guys are like taking time out to like breathe
Yeah.
and just like relax and everything because that is super important.
Yeah. Hopefully, I hope everyone had a good holiday season, that break, at least for the
Hmm.
most part. So it kind
Yep,
of charges you going into the new year. I know I
hmm,
tried to take advantage of it. I did as much as I could.
absolutely. You got to.
Yeah, if nothing else, just rest.
Right.
And then you get back on it. So back on it. Um,
Back on the grind.
yeah. And doing our part, doing what we can. Hopefully, we
Hmm.
still ducking and dodging the Rona, but
Right.
hopefully we almost a year into this thing, man. Hopefully, y'all
Hmm.
we figured out what to do, y'all. Come on. So,
Right.
but we in this thing, man.
Hmm.
I'm whole. I'm chilling. I'm really trying to like.
Nah, Kenny stressed.
It's not that I'm stressed. It's just like this crazy to me. So we gotta have this conversation. It started last week, y'all. Um,
Yeah.
and I don't know how many people. I guess they call it LLC Twitter, right?
Yeah.
The whole thing that's been going on. It's not really just Twitter though, but I'll just that's been the name that's kind of been given to it because a lot of it's happened on Twitter.
Right. And the
But this
stimmy.
whole, yeah,
The stimmy.
the stimmy. But you like okay, so for people who
Why
don't,
do we have to have names for everything?
because we're black, like
It's
um,
just like how like your family has their name for you, your friends have their name for you, different friend groups have their different names for you.
yeah, that's a meme in itself right there.
Yep.
But the
Bro, if I could
stimmy,
tell you some of the nicknames I have.
yeah, I can go back on something too. Um, some I got to leave back there, right? Um,
Yep.
but oh man, so this whole thing, and it's really, I guess, yeah, the stimmy. For those again who don't know, the recent issuance of the new round of stimulus checks,
Hmm.
um,
They
and
dropped this week.
they dropped apparently, yeah. But even starting like really the week after Christmas,
Hmm.
a lot of people started taking to social media, especially Twitter. It's a lot of memes, a lot of jokes, a lot of people talking
Yeah.
about what they was going to do with this round of money. And y'all know how
Hmm.
social media is. Like a lot of it's joke. Or at least I thought.
Right.
But
Yeah, but a lot of people were like, "Oh nah, I'm about to take this 600 real quick and flip it and turn it into a business, and I'm about to get all the money in 2021."
yeah, so I don't even know where to start on this thing, y'all. So
How
like,
do you? First of all, I want to ask Kenny, what was your first reaction to that?
okay, so let me start with there was this one tweet that really went out that kind of kickstarted this whole thing. So for people who don't know, there's a lot of people out there's a lot of folks out there who I guess the whole concept of LLC Twitter came from like the people who try to be business minded, who want to be business minded, who may or may not be financial advisors and all this stuff. It's really it's like a whole hustling kind of mentality around with it. Now I'm not gonna say it's like completely some BS, but I will say there's a lot of BS out there, y'all. Um, and so I guess with this whole round of the stimulus checks and the memes and the joke, I'm gonna go buy this, I'm gonna get this, I'm gonna do this.
Hmm.
A lot of these financial hustler folks started coming out of the woodwork and they were opposed to some of these things. A
Hmm.
lot of people were like, "No, I don't need to be doing this." You need to be starting businesses. You need to be doing this. You need to be taking that money and flipping it and all this stuff, right?
Right.
I said,
And you know what? You know who this is? You know who LLC Twitter is? They're your friend that's like, hey, yo, let me get 500. Let me flip it to, I could flip that.
I'm gonna give you
And I'll
4,000 back.
give you, right.
Yeah, yeah. So like all the sues and all those things that people have experienced and
Mm-hmm.
that involve money. So like that's where this group of people, they're now on Twitter, they're now being called LLC Twitter, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
not so
And I have friends with LLCs. So
yeah, I
I
have
was kind of
like
I was very like, okay, what is this? Like, what's going on?
exactly. So for someone who again, I'm a back. I know if y'all listen to this podcast, I listen to this show, y'all probably know my consulting company deals with a lot of people who start businesses. We help them along the way. We walk them through the process. It's one of the
Mm-hmm.
things we do, our next steps program, right?
Right.
So I have a little knowledge in some of this stuff, but also as a legitimate business owner myself,
Mm-hmm.
I know a little bit about this stuff. I'm not gonna claim to be an expert, but
Nah, Kenny is an expert.
a track record speaks for it. I got some people out there, that really.
Kenny is a legit expert. So like,
But you know
if
what's funny?
you're trying to like start a business, I would say hit up Kenny.
But the funny thing is, I still wouldn't even consider myself an expert
Mm,
because there's a lot of layers to this stuff, y'all,
right.
and it
There's levels to
varies
this.
depending on what type of business, depending on where you state you live in. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot, y'all, to this. So even for someone like me, I outsource a lot of my information for other people. Like
Right.
I have people hit me up like, my first thing, what state you live in, what you trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
We can work with somebody local
Yeah.
because
Let
we
me
do a
let
lot
me
more
put you
going on.
with someone in your state that can help you.
Yeah, some places are kind of similar, but there's a lot of states where there's a lot of different rules, y'all. And depending on
Right.
what you're trying to do, and even businesses, and then there may be additional licensing when it comes to taxing and filing. There's a lot to this stuff. So I
Right.
say all that to say, whew, man, last week was rough. So with these group of people out here, and again, I'm not trying to dog people because, like, I will also say too, I kind of understand with people's hearts. There's
Right.
a lot of people out here trying to hustle, they try and get some money, but
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to like legitimate business,
Mm-hmm.
there's a difference.
Right.
So I see people out there, I see them, and a lot of times those are the people I'm trying to help. Like I see what you're trying to do, but it may be, like if you hustling, you do it on your own, you're not legitimate technically. Let's see how we can change that.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are some people out here who just scam, or they just don't know what the hell they're talking about.
Right.
And
And
so
I specifically really, really can't wait to talk about the scammers
this scammers.
because I know some. I know
There are,
some.
there are some, yeah, I know some too. And then there's folks out there who like they let's say it's hard to call they're misinformed.
Mm-hmm.
People who want to know, but they've been listening to the wrong people. So people have been
Mm-hmm.
burned by a lot of this stuff. There's just a
Right.
lot. So I want to get into that. So I guess what really kickstarted this was the one tweet by I don't know who the dude was, but I actually took a screenshot of it, right? So when I saw it, I was like, hold up. This may be doing the absolute most. And I started seeing it, and then like, so let me read this. I'm gonna read this, right?
All right.
So this is what I'm not okay. I'm not going to say the person's name. I'm not going to say their username.
Right.
Pretty much, this was someone's advice on Twitter
Mm-hmm.
or what to do with some of your stimulus check money. Again, not
Right.
us. I'm reading from someone here.
And also, the Community Coalition Show does not condone this at all.
Hell no.
We're literally just getting information out there.
Yeah,
We're just telling this story.
because I ain't with none of this right here. So my man said, he said, take $150 from your stimulus. One, go
Okay.
get an LLC. Now
Okay.
you own your business.
Hmm.
Now go online and get the 5K business grant. That's how you turn $150 into 5K. Hold on,
Mm,
there's more. Wait, not done. Um, now you have 5K and your own business.
hmm.
Now take out a credit card on your business.
Yeah, I saw that too.
You have to pay it off.
Mm,
Um, yeah. So that was the first part. So
okay.
let's break that down. No, you know what? No, let's go because now he says, okay, now make your business credit perfect. Like that's easy. Um, every time you spend $1, file it under your business. Yeah, that's
Hmm.
um end of your year, file those taxes,
Hmm.
pay those taxes, start living good, all off $150. Thank me
Hmm.
later. This is free game.
Now, I want to ask one really quick, obvious question.
Mhm.
Is that legal?
No,
Is this fraud?
yes,
Now, I remember specifically seeing someone in the replies that was like, "No, you should not do this," and this is literally fraud.
yeah. Well, because like, okay, for a couple of reasons. Let me break this down. For like,
Hmm.
I guess I'll start from the beginning. Um, the part about taking your stimulus and actually filing a business is cool if you
Hmm.
want to start a business.
Okay.
If you have a business concept, okay, y'all, starting a business is a entire life changing move. Like,
Right.
and I'm
So you
tired
need
of
a business plan.
you need a plan. What does your business do? Are you selling something? Are you offering a service? What do you do? How are you doing it? Like, there's so many layers. Just before you even get to the point about filing, what are
Hmm.
you doing? What is your concept? And this is my issue. Okay, and I'm gonna say this. I say this a million times. This is the biggest issue when it comes to business. Most people who reach out to people like myself and others, and they want help, and they say, "I want to start a business," and
Right.
a lot of questions in that. And
Hmm.
first they're like, "Well, what are you doing?" And you know, either sometimes they can't fully articulate what they want to do, which is
Right.
cool. We may be able to help walk you, guide you through that. We can figure that part out if you're serious about it. Or some people they have a concept and it may not be. There are some things that there's different types of businesses.
Hmm.
Some things could be a little side hustle. Some
Right.
things can be what they call a sole proprietorship, where it's just you kind of like little small stuff. You know, um, but there's a lot to this. So first of all, first and foremost, my advice is anybody who wants to start a business, you have to want to actually run and operate and own a business. And it is far beyond selling something real quick. You have to have a concept. You have to be able
Hmm.
to articulate that. There's a plan. It's like, how do you sell? What are you doing? How do you get in it from? Like a lot of businesses take money to start. Even something simple, like I was talking to somebody earlier, trying to get, talking about candles and stuff. Hey, you gotta get the materials for that. You know, we talking about
And
even
that
little
costs
things
money.
cost money. Even little stuff may not seem like a lot, but where you getting these funds from? How they coming in? What are you doing? And then like personally, you have to want to operate a business.
Hmm.
Like, and I say that all the time, and that's one of the other biggest issues I have people who want to start business. They think they're going to get rich overnight. Like it's work to it. There's levels to it. There's steps to it. And
Right.
also, you want to. Is this something you're passionate about?
Hmm.
Like one person hit me up a couple weeks ago, like, oh, I can do anything. I can learn everything quickly, but that's cool. But you're going to keep bouncing around because there's not one thing that you're passionate about that you're going to learn about that you're going to do every day when the times get hard and tough. You're just going to quit if it's not something that is really inside of you. And then you have to run a business. You have to be a business owner. There's a lot with that. So a lot of my questions involve your personal life.
Hmm.
Do you have the time for this? How do you
Right.
manage not just yourself, other things? Finances, like multitask. It's a lot to this stuff, y'all. I'm not going to take too much time on that part, but I have to throw that out there first. So it's not just you just going to go file a business real quick. Also, too, filing fees. It costs money to file a business.
Mm-hmm.
Anywhere from 150. I can tell you, Maryland, that's 150. That's kind of on the cheap end. Other states, it can be up to a couple hundred, $500, so depending on the state. That's
Oh,
just the file. That's you don't get approved right away. Also,
right.
like that's just because what it is, you're a business is you're being recognized by the government. It's being
Mm-hmm.
able to operate and sell goods and things like that, exchange.
Right.
So you can file, but you have to get approved. There's a lot of questions. They ask you, what do you do? What is your name? Who owns this thing? How you being represented. So like there's processes to it. And also
Right.
depending on the business, there may be other steps to take. Do you
Mm-hmm.
need a license for this business? You may have to recognize with like I know in Maryland the comptroller's office, so you can be able to you have to report on the money you spend and earn. You have to file
Right.
taxes on this stuff yearly. I know in Maryland, off break, $300 filing fee every year to file your taxes. Like
Mm.
you have to stay in good standing, all kinds of stuff. So this is not just something you just do real quick. And if okay, let me keep going. Now you own your business. Yeah. Um, Go online to get the 5K business grant. That it's not that easy.
Mm.
It's not that easy.
What
First
do
of
you have
all,
to do to like get a to get that grant?
I mean, again, it varies by plate wherever you are. They're
Mm-hmm.
not. It may not always be the same thing. Also, too, for most grants. Okay, let's say this. First of all, filing a business, you can pay an expedited fee. If you pay more, you may get the results in a day or two. Most
Mm-hmm.
time you file a business, you're waiting about 6 to 8 weeks to get the approval. So that's
Oh,
first.
okay.
It doesn't really happen overnight for the most part. And then, like I said, there's other licenses and things like that that you may need. You got to file for those things too. There's fees for those as well. So like this doesn't happen overnight. Now we're talking
Right.
about business grants. And again, this is another gripe I have where everyone thinks that they're just going to get a grant and it's going to solve all their problems. Grants are not easy to obtain. If they were, everybody would have one.
Right.
Think about what a grant is. A grant is pretty much recognizing what you're doing and we're giving you an opportunity through resources, you know.
Right.
But a lot of times you got to prove what you're doing
Yeah.
and show what you're doing. If not, everybody would be doing. This is why it's not that easy. So I actually went and researched and actually tried to do it. And I was like, this is not. It's not that. It's not a slam dunk. And that's what I say.
Right.
Most people, and this is another great people. Oh, or people mostly with nonprofits. I'm gonna start a nonprofit. I'm gonna get a grant. So let me tell you guys, not all, but a lot of grants. They ask for information about you. They want to see history. How long have
Mm-hmm.
you been doing this? How much money are you bringing in? What are you contributing to this thing? Because a lot of
Right.
grants, there's grants for startups, but a lot of them aren't. They want to see what you're already capable of doing because it also weeds out the people who aren't doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like I say, if you did have a couple of dollars, you could go through this process and file, but then no. Also, a lot of grants and stuff, they may also require reporting as well. So let's say you do get a 5K grant. Let's say all this happens and you do get it. You may have to report on that every year.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of grants, they may give you money, but they may require or a stipulation of the grant may be that you have to use it for specific things.
Mm-hmm. Right. Like business expenses.
Yeah, I can tell you a story. I know I wrote a grant for a guy a couple of years ago. He misused the funds. They snatched that.
Ooh.
They come back and get that money if you're not using it
Ooh.
correctly. So there's a lot to that.
So they see all the purchases.
Yeah, they can request it, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But like even a lot of times, even sometimes, like especially like nonprofits and stuff, like when you file, they
Mm-hmm.
ask for these things up front.
Right.
So yeah, like yeah, they want to know what are you doing with it? What do you tend to do with it? How you tend to use it? Things like that. And sometimes they may say you can't use it for this. You may not be able to use it for this or things like that. So it can be tricky.
Mm-hmm.
So it may not be as simple. I'm just gonna get a 5K grant real quick. It doesn't quite work like that. Um, Now that you got 5K and own your business, take out a credit card in your business name again. Not that simple. First of all,
But wait, hold on. Okay, hold on. Now I have a question. What was the point of getting the 5K grant if you're going to also get a credit card? Or is it that you got the grant so that you can use the credit card and use the 5K to pay off the credit card when you use
have the credit card. Yeah. Because, okay, so first of all, again, if you have no business credit, they're probably going to go back to your personal.
Mm-hmm.
So like, oh, you ain't got no credit? Well, we're going to check you out. So if your credit is jacked, might not work out that way because you have no history.
Mm-hmm.
Again, even like, I know it's getting better now, but like a couple of years ago, even getting a bank account, they wanted to see like history, or you had to have a deposit down. Some banks, if you have a business, a lot of banks, they wanted $1,000 down.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just to get a bank account.
Right.
Because the business, you're supposed to be having income, supposed to have some type of flow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and they want to see that because again, if not, everybody would be doing this and taking the perks off of a business. Because there are perks that own in the business. There can be some if you use it correctly.
Mm-hmm.
So again, getting a credit card, business. Again, and also too, I advise people if you're not good with money, if you don't have good financial sense anyway, let's say, like I said, if your personal finances are jacked, it's going to translate to your business most of the time, especially if it's you doing it by yourself.
Right.
There's very few things to say if I haven't got it right over here, I'm going to get it right over here. Sometimes I don't always translate. So go ahead and let you get a 5K. Now you're getting a credit card. Also, what's the limit on this card? It's another thing. Yeah. So all this stuff, like, make your business credit perfect. Again, even if all this was correct, like, it's not an easy process.
Mm-hmm.
No.
That doesn't perfect. I'm pretty sure perfect credit doesn't happen in like one day.
No. It's a history thing too. Even if you're doing everything correctly, like, you got to build some of this stuff, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Then every time you spend $1, file it under your business. Personal money. So if I spend $1 of my own, I file under the business. That's fraud. That's fraud off break. I can't buy a TV for me, a personal TV, and put it under my business. Like, at some point, you have to justify purchases.
But what if I am someone who bets money on games, and so isn't that a business expense that I could file?
No. No. DraftKings ain't going to be expensive, yo. No. That's what I'm saying. So, like, you can't just go spend, and file it to the business. No.
Right.
Again, it has to retain to what you're doing. So good luck with that, y'all. Go ahead, and then when you go file taxes and they ask for these things, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I want to ask now, if I really did want to start a business with my 600, how would I go about doing that process?
Well, yeah, that's cool. That's to say, I think a lot of people are actually using that. So, because to me, it's like investing. Mm-hmm. You know, like you're putting it back into something that's going to hopefully be fruitful later. You know,
right?
So my first thing is, why are you going into business? And then 2, what is your business? You know, so those are the 2 questions I ask. Like, again, because a lot of people, and I've seen this again over the last year, especially with the pandemic, a lot of people are actually, they're turning to this stuff. A lot of people lost jobs. They're losing money. So they're like, how can I, I need another way of income, another stream of income, need another way to make it happen. And okay, but business is not something you just jump into blindly.
Right.
It's not, because there's a lot of processes on the back end,
Yeah.
And you have to learn this stuff. And that's what my exercise is always. Learn what's around you. You know, learn what your state requires, why they're required. What does it look like? Time frame. It's like you need to do research on this stuff too. A lot
Mm-hmm.
of people, depending on like LegalZoom and other things, which are cool, but I would say for the first time, you want to go through the process and learn it. I think you should because later on, people you can be getting letters, stuff from the state when it comes time to file, and you're not gonna know what they're talking about,
Right.
and you're gonna have to pay people like me.
It's
Honestly,
like, hey, you remember that $20 that you spent on lunch? Yeah, we're gonna need that back.
we're gonna need that back.
Oh, actually, we're gonna need that back with interest.
Yeah, that's another thing too. And we're going to
so, so basically, you owe us $400. It's like, do it really be like that?
and other penalties too, because a lot of times there's penalties involved too.
Dang.
Yeah. You that's $1,000 penalty. It's a $5,000 penalty. Yeah. Or mess around and get audited.
Mm.
It may not happen today. It may not happen next year. 3 years go around, 4 years go around. Oh, you getting audited from when? 2000. Yeah, 3 years. What are you talking about, man? Sometimes the IRS it takes a couple minutes for them to catch up with you.
Mm-hmm.
But when they do, and then you got to pay for that too, because go ahead and pay.
Right.
Yeah, you can't handle that alone.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot, y'all. That's what I'm saying. Like this is nothing to play with, because if you don't do this correctly, they come down hard, and that's the whole thing. So like, and this is So like, that tweet alone is just like a hell nah, because it doesn't. That's not what it looks like in real life, y'all. No, not in real life.
Like when I saw that, it made me laugh because I was like, wait, hold on, this doesn't sound like this. I mean, obviously, it doesn't sound legal. First of all, to do all of this just to get 5K and like thinking like the dude was talking like I can get 5K tomorrow.
And that's no.
Like I could take this 150 real quick, or take this 600, use 150 and get 5K real quick.
No. Especially when it comes to like the grant and stuff like that. First of all, who's writing your grant?
Mm-hmm.
Good luck. Even if it's a small business, quick one. People again, it's like speaking another language when it comes to financial legal terms sometimes.
Right. Financial literacy.
If you don't know how to read contracts, if you don't know the language of money and how to handle these things and what they're talking about, you will get burned. So go ahead. Right. That's why another thing, like everybody thinks they're a grant writer until you sit down in front of one.
Right. So what are some of the things that a grant writer has to look out for when writing a grant?
Okay. There's a lot of different types of grants come from different places. A lot of times, just the first thing is just actually reading the grant and decipher what are they saying. What type of grant is this? There's a lot of things. I mean, even the basics, like I said, where is it coming from?
Mm-hmm.
The term, the length, the amount, stuff like that. Like how it can be used. What are your requirements? Like what are the application requirements? Because sometimes they require you to do certain things and present certain things, how to present those things, the time frame. A lot of times there's a application, there's a start date, there's a closing date. If you don't get it in time, no, it's not going to work. There's a lot that goes into it. It's a lot of writing. Also, too, it's a lot of like, you have to be correct. You really have to dot your I's, cross your T's with a lot of this stuff. Because, there's a lot of people applying for these things too. And
I know of like when you're writing a grant, there's like, or like not only a grant, but like even a contract, like there's a lot of like legal things that it can say to like throw people off.
I mean, it is, but it's not even like throwing people off. It's just, like I said, you have to know what you're reading. So like I said, if it's used for this, these are the requirements. These are the stipulations. If it doesn't happen, this happens. This is what the process is. They have to lay out everything, like to let people know what's going on up front. So you have to have people that know how to read those things and be able to pick through and understand what's happening. think about it like the best way I can say, almost like a translator.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you don't know the language, you need somebody to translate for you. Not
Right.
all translators are created equal.
Mm.
You know, if you ever been to a translator, some people are really proficient in that language. Some people are not.
Perfect example. Y'all remember seeing that one lady on TV that was supposed to be doing the sign language translating?
A couple of, yeah.
She had no idea what she was doing.
Yeah.
Like I remember learning a little bit of sign language when I was in elementary school, but that lady had no idea what she was doing. And it was the funniest thing.
Yeah. And then it's also think about that's kind of scary because people need to understand that.
Yeah.
You know, I that's what I'm saying. So like even that's why I wouldn't even consider myself an expert because I know I'm not the
Mm-hmm.
best grant writer. I know I'm
Okay.
not because I don't really like doing it. It's
Mm-hmm.
time consuming. It's a lot. It's also a numbers game too. Grant writers, percentage game. You don't get all the grants you apply for too.
Man.
Like that's just how it goes, you know. So like I know I don't like to do it. My main thing is I can understand. I know how to read through it and things like that. But like
Mm-hmm.
I don't even want to take the time to do it a lot of times. It's the reason why I don't really do it. You know.
Right.
Um. So there's a lot to that stuff. So it's not just that you just pop up, get a grant, like. And like I said, I know even on large scale things, even when it comes to like nonprofits and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
requirements are they've become to change too over a while. The days that people just giving out money, free money, it's not like how it used to be. Like I said, if you're getting grants, a lot of times it's either there's a process to get it, or you know, there may be some requirements that some people don't want to go through.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like as a business, as an organization, you may have to say, you know what, this grant isn't worth it. It may change the scope of what we do. A lot of times people they chase the money. So
Right.
let's say for example, I don't know, like I thought like okay, I can take examples. Back in the day, not like I used to work with like youth serving nonprofits. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of times a grant will take you, okay, I'm just working with the young people. And part of the grant may say, hey, you might have to start doing parenting classes, you know,
Ooh.
but your main focus is just young people. We just working with the kids, you know, we over
Mm-hmm.
here. But now I got to provide a certain level of service for the parents. That's
Mm-hmm.
outside of what I do. I don't know how to do that. But instead of people saying, you know what, this may not be the best for us, what do? They take that grant and then, okay, now we got to figure it out. How are we going to work with the parents? But that's
Right.
outside of your
Like now
expertise.
you have to hire more people, and you gotta like you gotta pay them.
Yeah, it expands your scope. It expands what you do. And sometimes it works and sometimes it's not what we're supposed to be doing, you know? And that may take you to a whole another level, another field, or another place where you don't know you getting into this, you don't know what's going on over there. You
Right.
know? So there's a lot to this stuff. Especially when it comes to that level. So like that's why advice like that is bad. And that's why it's dangerous. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what really got me fired up because I'm like, y'all, we can't just be spewing out any old thing. One thing about social media is that like we have to be responsible. People actually do listen.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, so what I did, like I saw that. I actually replied. I sent a little message. I'm like, y'all I don't think this is what we should be doing, y'all. Like kind of what I do, like letting y'all know. I was trying to be nice
Mm-hmm.
about it, like, I don't think this is the move, y'all. Like, no, I will tell
This
you,
ain't it.
this ain't it. So from that, people actually messaged me on Twitter. People actually hit me up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, okay, like, and they were like, no, first they hit me up like, one person like, well, how can I get to 5K? So I had to kind of break it down through a series of messages like,
Mm-hmm.
let me tell you what the process should be and what it looks like. You know, they
Versus
never,
what this guy is selling you.
they never replied back. So I'm like, I guess either they didn't want to hear it or it may have been too much. Don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Had another person, a little bit more serious, like, hey, I just started my business. Um, trying to see how I can do this, So
Mm-hmm.
we go back and forth talking. So I'm asking, what did they do? They told me what they did. Cool. Like I'm trying to get an LLC. So again, what state are you in? What does it look like? So one of my things I have is I have like checklists and stuff like that, depending on the state. What is the process?
Mm-hmm.
Filing, and then also too, what type of business? Not every business is an LLC.
Right.
Everyone says LLC. People don't even know what an LLC is.
What is an LLC?
An LLC, limited license company. What an LLC is? It's a filing pretty much normally for like what they call like single member, pretty much like one owners, sometimes one or two. Is this small business?
Right.
The difference in the LLC, what it does pretty much, and again, basics. I'm being very basic here, is that it separates the business assets from your personal stuff. That's kind of the main premise of it, right?
Okay.
So when you file the business, everything is separated, the finances,
Okay.
everything, and that way your personal stuff isn't liable to a degree. You know,
That makes a lot of sense.
yeah. So it's kind of like and then you get in like corporations and stuff like that, which is like more member stuff like that. But LLC
Mm-hmm.
is very popular because again, a lot of small businesses fit in that category.
Right.
Operating, but we want to separate everything. There's also what's called a sole proprietorship.
Okay.
Sole
What is that?
proprietorship is pretty much the essence of like small business. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like there is no technical separation, even though you should keep your finances and stuff separate, like separate accounts and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But let's say in the instance where like I don't know, somebody come after you, sue you, something like that, and again, basic sense, your personal assets and stuff can be held accountable. So like it's
Okay.
this is where like I would suggest people like side hustles. Like I would say, like if you're selling a little product, a couple dollars, kind of like sort of like a hobby type thing.
Are you talking about like almost multi-level marketing?
No, I wasn't even going there. Oh, let me talk about that in
Okay.
a second. Maybe like, okay, in essence, like you selling candy. Oh no, I'm throwing
Hmm.
something out there.
Right.
You selling candy. Like you got a couple, it's like a little, or you make like holiday season. A lot, I seen people like selling like, like Christmas ornaments or some little knickknack homemade things.
Hmm.
Whereas like it's kind of like a hobby. They just do it, make a couple dollars. It's nothing serious. It's just them. It's like homemade stuff. So proprietorship may work for someone like that, you know.
Okay.
Whereas like it's not a lot of money. It's a couple dollars, Anything
Hmm.
under like 10,000, stuff like that. That's
Right.
cool. People do stuff like that.
Hmm.
I have a homegirl like a homegirl selling pies. Terry, shout out to Terry.
Oh
Something
yeah.
like
Shout out to
that.
Terry.
That could probably pass like a sole proprietorship.
Hmm.
She's selling a couple little pies, flipping them out. She, probably did well, but it's like it's just her little side business. You
Hmm.
know, then LLC comes, maybe it gets bigger, maybe it gets larger. Now maybe she requires equipment. They're gonna need a space. They need
Hmm.
assets. I gotta buy like an oven or something. Now I really gotta start separating it. I got assets. I'm making a little bit more money,
Right.
justifying things. That then the separation may begin to come into play there. Because
Right.
now you actually, like I said, there's assets, there's things you have to account for at that point.
Hmm.
I'm buying this for the business, stuff
Right.
like that. So like there's a difference there. Well, some people, like I said, a lot of people may not need an LLC. They may not need it. It's a lot easier
What
to
are the other types of businesses that
when you get into like
people start?
corporations and things like that. We have
Hmm.
multiple members. When you start talking about things like um, public and shareholders and things like that. Um,
Hmm.
Larger corporations where you're talking about like acquiring other corporations and businesses and stuff. There's levels for that. Then most people go nonprofit route, nonprofit organization, which is technically a public organization, which people start. And a lot of people get into nonprofits thinking because it's charity, and then they don't realize that technically you don't own that. That's why there's
Mm.
board members, there's trustees, where it's a group of people who are entrusted to manage this organization because it's technically public, it's technically charity.
Right.
A lot of people want to go that route because they see the tax benefits and the tax breaks and things
Hmm.
like that. But a lot of organizations, there may be other ways to do it. You know,
Right.
So sometimes I have to encourage people. You know, there's a lot of issues that happen when they start nonprofits and then they realize, oh, I have to recruit a board of
Mm-hmm.
directors, and those board of directors, they technically become entrusted. If something happens, they're the ones who deal with it to the most part.
Right.
And
They're
so,
the ones that are responsible.
yeah. So a lot of times as time goes on, it may start off small and that's cool. Sometimes they grow, they get bigger, they get larger. And a lot of
Mm-hmm.
times the conflict between the founder, the person who started the organization, and the current board members who technically have operation over the entity. There's a lot,
Right.
it can be messy, it can be ugly for a lot of situations. Not all the
Mm-hmm.
time, but I say all that to say that's why even choosing the right type of business is so important. But you have to know that stuff. Again, a lot of people don't even know that stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
things are huge. Um, and then you talk, you like, I know you said like multi-level marketing, things like that. Um, which again, I'm not going dog. I know a lot of people feel a lot of certain ways about it, but for some people, it may actually work. Where it's like it's kind of like a franchise model, you know, where like you're you're kind of handed the keys to to the ship, where it's like
Mm-hmm.
everything is kind of there for you, you know, where it's like technically you're an owner, but the model is already given to you, you know,
Right.
like so like you know you work for a company, they've created the product, they've created how they're going to market it, they've created everything, and you're kind of just doing it on your piece, you know.
Right.
I can say the equivalent is like McDonald's. Most people don't know McDonald's is a franchise. You see a lot of franchises. See
Right.
McDonald's, somebody owns it, but everything in that McDonald's has already been decided by corporate.
Mm-hmm.
That's why if you go into McDonald's, if you pay attention, everything's pretty much in the same place, even to the bathroom for the most part. There's like two or three different models, but they use the same thing. So like
Right.
everything is all right. You know that you know what they're selling. They got McDonald's food in there. You know what you're getting in there. And you'll never, you know, like so it doesn't vary.
Right.
But people do well with them because you know they may not want to create their own product and things like that. Maybe they like this product. Maybe I could just flip this. I like it. You know, like um, people do stuff like that. Like we've
Mm-hmm.
had a couple of those people where it's like I use this product, I like this product. Well, maybe I could sell it to some people. You know, and that works for them in a sense too. So that's why figuring these things out is so important. You know,
Right.
but yeah.
And
So
then I want to ask about I know especially with specifically with LLCs, you have filed taxes.
yeah, yeah. So pretty much think about it like your the taxes in a sense. I know like people think, oh, you're just paying money. No, it's reporting on your activities for the most part. You
Mm-hmm.
know, also like not even just annually. I know in some states like you have to report on the things in the quarterly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so like it's you have to report on what's happening to stay in good standing. The government for state and federal, they want to know what it's looking like. Also, too, because they want to know, like for a lot of goods and stuff, if you're selling goods and stuff, you're supposed to be charging tax and stuff like that for these goods.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're paying tax on that, they want to know what's happening with that. You know, so it's just a way to report. So yeah, you have to file taxes. Like I said, there's a fee for that in a lot of places. Again, I'm in
Mm-hmm.
Maryland. I can tell you Maryland real quick. Every year it's a $300 fee to file. Not that's
Jeez.
not paying the tax. That's just to file. So you gotta come with that 300 every year, you know, and then you file, and then what happens from there? If you have to pay, you know, if you haven't already, if there's some discrepancies or something like that, you might have to deal with it then, you know. But yeah, you have to, yeah, like you have to report
Right.
on your business activities. That's what it's all about. Um, and then communicating. A lot of times, that you know, states they send paperwork and stuff like that. That's why a lot of people either have like lawyers that they have to pay, or they
Mm-hmm.
have, you know, people, you know, like intermediaries and stuff like that. Like, um, you know, some places it may not be a lawyer, but there are a lot of businesses where that's what they do. They serve as in betweens, so you pay them. I
Right.
know in Maryland, I'm paying mine like it's like $99 a year. So let's say if the state wants to send me paperwork, if someone wants to sue me, they can't just come serve me at my door. They go to the intermediary. They make
Mm.
sure I get everything. That's their job. So there's a lot to this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Even I know some states, again, you have to your trade name. You got to register the name of your business. Certain licensing. That's why like places
Right.
where like a lot of professional jobs have licensing that they have to keep up with the state. Everything from real estate agents, therapists, doctors, lawyers. That's why they these requirements. So
Mm-hmm.
if they operate business, they have to make sure not only is the business sound, but they're making all the requirements for their personal licensing to operate. So yeah, this could be a lot, y'all.
Right. And
So
then I want to
no,
ask, like, if I filed a business incorrectly, and either maybe I'm getting in trouble with the IRS, or I'm getting sued by somebody. What does that process look like?
it depends, but it can be a lot. Okay, so like, let's say you file incorrectly or something like that.
Hmm. Can they shut the whole business down?
Depends on how bad, possibly.
Okay.
You know, like where it gets to the point where you owe so much where you might have to shut it down just to like
Break even.
love everything. Yeah, that's why you see a lot of places they go bankrupt or they just kind of they have to close down and they use the money and stuff like that to sell off things and stuff. Yeah.
Right.
Or a lot of times, especially like small businesses, there may be a little discrepancy. Like if you file, I don't know, maybe numbers don't look right
Hmm.
or reporting, there may be a penalty for it. You know,
Okay.
maybe a penalty if you have to like resubmit something like that. Because it can be like a process. Even when you're filing your
Right.
business, like we have a question about this, they may send it back, revise this, send it back. Like so it can be a process, but there can be penalties. And sometimes, especially depending on how like what's the business income stuff like that, it can be
Hmm.
a little bit, you know. So these things do happen. You'd be surprised. Like some states I find are pretty good, pretty lenient. They'll work with you, especially if your business is in good standing. May not be as bad. I find Maryland to kind of be one of those states. I think here they do a good job, but I've seen other states where they cutthroat.
Mm.
So and then being sued too. Yeah, like I said, if you're depending on what you're being sued for,
Hmm.
um, you know, that's why those battles can be ongoing. It's a lot of court motions, filing appeals. It's like being sued. It's a lot, and that's why a lot of times you need lawyers because you need to have somebody help you navigate that process.
Hmm.
So like you'd be surprised. People get sued all the time. People get sued a lot. A lot of times they get settled, they get dealt with. A lot of times they have to go through the courts. You know, so yeah, yeah. And that's the thing. If you're not prepared for this stuff, if you're not ready, that's also why things like business insurance come into play
Hmm.
because you need to be insured depending on what you're doing as well too. Because like just like in life, in personal life, we have coverage for things, accidents,
Right.
car insurance, life insurance. You need business insurance as well
Business
too.
insurance. Okay.
Yeah, there's business insurance out there. I know. I remember I got first introduced when I was working with kids and young people back in the day, and they
Hmm.
were like, "No, because if something happens to this young person on your watch, that's your ass." Like for real, like pretty much. And it's like you need business insurance to be able to cover certain things.
Hmm.
Like this is real. So yeah, doctors have insurance, lawyers, business professionals, they have insurance that covers their
Right.
business and certain things that may happen along with it. So,
Hmm.
and to be honest, I'm scratching the surface. A lot
Yeah, I was about to,
of basics.
bro. I was about to say, like, you gotta really be like financially literate,
Yeah,
like to
yeah,
a
you should.
T, to even to like to do all of this.
Yeah, and my thing is, even if you're not before you get started, if you're open to learning, if you're passionate about what you're doing, that's why the passion to me is so important because you will
Hmm.
want to learn about these things. Because if you care about what you do, You're going to care about how everything is going to make what you do better. And also, you don't want any problems. So if you care, the passion about what your business is about, all these things, you'll learn about these things. No one knows. There's very few people that know all this stuff going in. I didn't. I had to learn. I took my lumps along the way, But I was like, okay, I'm learning. Let me figure this out. Let me read about this. Let me go ask somebody. Let me see who knows. Let me get advice. Places like I was hitting up the Chamber of Commerce, local Chamber of Commerce. I was hitting up other professionals. I was asking. A lot of times we didn't know. I remember I started our first nonprofit. I filed the paperwork. I did it. I didn't really. I maybe knew 30% of what I was doing. 30, and then I was just learning as we went along. Like that's what it was. And it was like, okay, let's learn. Let's keep growing. We keep growing. We keep learning. What do we need? And I was going back and I was asking, what do I have to do? What do I have to do? What does this look like? And then like I said, you may not think it's a lot of money. Little things start to add up. Dang, to file, I got to pay $150. Trade name costs like $25. This license costs $30. All these things cost money. So before you know it, $500-$600. Start a nonprofit's even more. So these things begin to add up. Insurance isn't necessarily cheap. It's a monthly fee, but you get just like car insurance. You got to pay that joint. You got to be ready for that. All these things. So it's like you're not going to start off for free. It's a process. You have to be ready for it. A lot of times, especially people who are working, they taking a little bit out of their money and putting it towards their business, and sometimes that's why it takes a little while because they can't everybody can't pay lump sum up front.
Right.
Sometimes it takes.
You gotta keep taking what you're making from the business and put it back right into the right into fund it.
Yeah, that's what I did. I mean, like I was like, okay, this check, get the LLC. Next check, let me get this. Let me get this. So you piece it together before you know it, you can pay it every 2 weeks, 2-3 months go by. Before you have, then okay, I got this stuff. Now let me start looking at this other stuff over here. What does this cost? What does this look like? I said registered agent. That's the go between. Dang, first year was $49. All right, let me go ahead and pay this $49 real quick. Get them. So you might do how you got to do it. So that's why I would say ideas like using the stimulus check, the stimmy. If you're already at that point, where it's like I'm ready to go, I'm ready to start filing, I got everything. Using the stimmy might be a good thing because it's money you didn't have before. So like I said, that's why I would look at it as a form of like investing back into yourself, into your business. Cool. Right. So that's where, to circle back, the LLC Twitter folks, I see where they're going with that part. The idea of using this kind of money that you didn't have before to kind of invest back. I get that part. So like the mindset may be kind of theirs as to how they set it and deliver and all that's crazy. Like, no, don't go out and do what my man that stuff I read. Don't do it.
Yeah, and pretty much don't take financial advice from social media.
Don't. Listen, you know what? Financial advice, relationship advice, life advice. Like, I know it sounds like people always try to take your money when they tell you go talk to a professional. But no, there's professionals out there for a reason.
Right. They get paid to like help people.
Yeah. And they know what they're talking about. They've been through it, So like I always say, like, okay, you wouldn't get your haircut from the whack barber.
With the dude that's
the dude in the first chair, he's whack.
The dude that his chair is empty.
Always empty. And he's up front and he's ready to go. Everyone if you go to the barbershop, that's the dude that does not care. You don't want that dude. You shave up, it's gonna be dead. He's gonna kill you.
Right.
Like, so that.
Don't be like back here.
Yeah, you got a yes sir joint. Like, that's not the guy you get. Like that's to me like getting financial advice on Twitter. Like that's the guy. You go ahead and talk to him if you want, see what happens to you. Right. Go ahead and get in that chair. He jack your hairline up. Like that's
Man.
not the guy. So it's like there's professionals. There's people that are good at this for a reason. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they spent years perfecting their craft and learning, and now they're at a place where they can actually go back and give you great sound advice and help you navigate a lot of this stuff. You
Mm-hmm.
know, that's I always say that's again. So yeah,
Yeah. And
that's
another
like,
question I went, my bad. My bad. Finish your thought.
no. Go ahead.
Okay. My next question was, how long was it until you started turning a profit?
That's a good question because some businesses do not. Okay, I'll go back. I mean, like when I started. Oh, okay. When I started BMV magazine, we didn't turn a profit for.
Mm-hmm. Oh, by the way, I did write for BMV, so I
Yeah,
was there.
it was very very small mom and pop. Like, I mean, it was towards the end, honestly.
Yeah.
But I think we actually may have because it's like again, you got to pay back everything. You know,
Right. And
I don't think
how long was it in business for?
maybe. No, I mean for return back. I mean, okay, yeah. I think we're like in the year 3, in the year 4. Yeah, like that it does. It takes a minute. Um,
Right.
Consulting was rather easy because it didn't take much to get started. So like I think it comes down to the business. Like I said, if you're starting a business that actually takes a lot of expenses to get going,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, man. Like if you need office space, if you need equipment, like office space will kill you first thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you need like hard, expensive equipment, like restaurants. That's why restaurants are hard because building, equipment,
Mm-hmm.
staff.
Yeah.
3, that's hard. So it's
Mm-hmm.
hard to you, and you got to have those things off the break.
Not to mention insurance.
Insurance. So it's hard to turn a profit right away because I'll throw a number out there. I don't know. Let's see how fast. Let's say your business costs. It takes everything. Let's say it takes $250,000 to get
Dang.
started. You know, how long does it take you to make back 250? Because most of
Mm-hmm.
the time you have to get a bank loan to get all this stuff, and then you're paying back the loan. Like while you're still trying to turn money and make money because you got paid staff, you got to do all this stuff. So these things can take a while.
Right.
That's why a lot of ventures are hard
Yeah.
because they don't turn money fast enough.
Right.
And that bank want their money every month.
Yeah.
You know,
It also it like really makes me think about like when me and my dad watch Shark Tank,
yeah,
they always mention I want my money, I want to make all of my money back.
yep,
And then once I do that, then you can get a profit.
yeah, yeah. You got to pay everything back first. You don't turn the profit till you pay everything back. You
Right.
know, and that's why I think about that. Think for bringing up Shark Tank because again, investing.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone thinks, oh, I'm gonna get a couple investors and things like that. If you ever watch Shark Tank, these people who have money to give ain't just giving out money for nothing.
Right.
They want a return. They want their money back, and they want
Mm-hmm.
more than what they gave you. That's what the return on investment is. If I give
Right.
you $1,000, I want a return. Not only do I want my 1,000 back, but let's say I get like a certain percentage. I want the money back and that percentage.
Mm-hmm.
That's the point of investing. It's a way to flip money.
Right.
Like so. Yeah, I'm gonna get an investor. I'm gonna get an investor. First of all, how many people I know there's a whole thing for like venture capitalists who like invest in startups,
Mm-hmm.
but you have to be on your game.
Mm-hmm.
Think about like you come to me and tell me I got business, man. I'm trying to get started. What do you do? Man, trying. I'm like, are you
Oh,
gonna give me money?
I sell cups.
That's a
I
cup.
sell
You
cups.
see a
What's
cup
up?
that might look janky, but that cup look nice. Okay, so then I gotta ask, how much it costs to make that cup? How many cups have you sold? What's the turnover
Um.
in that cup? Like it's a
I mean. Uh.
yeah, and that,
Yeah.
see that. But that's how it goes. Think about the natural human response.
Mm-hmm.
Do I want to get his dude money now? Like that's how it goes.
Yeah, and then they ask questions like, "How many cuts have you sold
I want
like
to know.
in the past year?"
Because if you ain't selling nothing, I'm giving you money. I don't know if I'm gonna get my money back.
Right.
You know, if this business model doesn't look like it's gonna get going and make a profit, I don't want to, because I'm gonna lose my money.
Right. Why am I investing in you if I'm not going to make money back?
Yeah, that's called a grant. And that's what I'm saying. People ain't give. It's hard to give out free money these days.
Right. And shout outs to Gio for the cup.
It is
like this design is fire.
Like I might actually invest in that. Yeah. Like, but that's the thing. So I get that all the time. That's another thing. People come to me and they talk to me like, "Yeah, I got this business. I'm gonna get a couple investors. What are you doing?" And again, I'm not saying this to discourage anyone, but they tell me something like, you know, okay, like I'll throw something out there like, "Oh, I want to sell wigs." Cool, but you got to tell me everything about this wig.
Right.
Where are you getting this wig from? How fast are you selling them? How much does it cost? How much does it cost to buy the wig? How much does it cost you to sell the wig? So I need to know everything about this.
How much does it take to make the wig?
Yeah, where is it coming from?
Is it human hair or is it like?
Yeah, you got My Little Pony back there. What is it? I don't know. So that's why people, when they talk about investors, I'm like, before you get in front of someone like that, you have to have a very sound model. You don't go in there sidestepping and tiptoeing because these people don't want to hear it. There's 1,000 other people like that. And I don't say to discourage. That's the reality. What makes you stand out? What makes your venture I want to give my money to you to get mine back?
Right. And then also, like, I know you've seen some of the flops on Shark Tank.
Yeah.
They are bad flops.
I see the flops in real life.
Man.
I see the people who don't. Okay, and I'm gonna tell y'all, if you ever watch Shark Tank is for people who pretty much are already operating. These people already making money. They're asking for investors because they're trying to get to the next level. They're not startups for the most part. That's why they can come. You're not going to sit in front of those 5 people, things for them, right? With a startup, they want to know how much money you are already making. What are you doing? They don't want to hear concepts or ideas. I'm sorry to say that, but that's how it goes sometimes. You know, a lot of people don't want, because how much are you putting into an unproven commodity? That's what it is. Question. Yeah. Like if I'm investing, and I have helped some people on a smaller scale, but I need to know what you're doing to get this money.
Right.
What have you already done to get this money? And that's why I ask personal questions too, because it paints a picture of how you're going to get this money. If you BS and you sidestep, and every time I talk to you, man, I'm about to do this, I'm about to next month. Are you saying the same thing? Nah. You're not progressing. You're not pushing hard enough. What have you done? What have you done now? What have you done? Have you done this, and this to get going? No, I ain't rocking with you because other people are. So that's what it comes to. So that's why I get passionate about it. But I hear this stuff all the time, and people think I'm mean because I tell them the truth. I'm like, no, I'm being honest with you, man. You can't. This is not something to be sidestepped. This is not something to play with.
Because you can. Not only can you go to jail, pretty much you can go to jail for this.
You can ruin yourself financially.
Yep.
You can put yourself in deeper hole. Like I said, it's a lot that comes along with this. And I don't matter what your industry is. It's something that you don't play with. Do not come to this stuff for play. Don't be out here playing these games thinking you're going to flip this money real quick.
Right. And shouts to Damon that started FUBU, and shout outs to Mark Cuban. I met him in San Francisco one time.
Yeah. You think them dudes is BSing? If you ever listened to some of them dudes, how they hustle and grind, and like they on it, it's cutthroat. That's why one of my favorite people to watch is Dame Dash. People think he's an asshole. People think he was so mean. No, Dame Dash was about his business. And if he had to go to war with you to let it know, that's how he rolled. If you ever listen to Diddy's the same. Yeah. They don't play games. You don't get to that point. I'm gonna do this tomorrow. Oh man, what you doing? I got a good idea. No.
They don't play.
They don't play. You think Diddy ever told somebody what you doing? He was like, I'm trying to get this. I got an idea. No, I'm gonna tell you exactly what it is. This is what I want to do. This is how I want to do it. These are the steps I've already taken. This is where I'm trying to go. And you got to push it because it's not nice in this. It's not nice out here.
Right. Diddy doesn't have a whole channel because he brought on some people that were sidestepping.
Yeah, you don't sidestep. You don't BS. You don't last. Even on a smaller scale. I mean, again, I have much smaller conversation, but I see the same elements. Like, you know, I was again for another venture to my minister. I was looking for products, right? So I hit up some people I know, like small stuff. Hey, my homie was selling beard oil. And I'm not gonna say no names, but I'm kicking the truth at this point. I'm like, my man, you selling beard oil? Like, bet, try and partner up, try and get this. I got a whole market of people trying to get this thing. What's up?
Right.
You start. Oh man, you still selling it? Yeah. It just, you know, I gotta get my hands on some of the materials. What you mean? I thought you were selling it. Well, you know, man, like I can't. Nope, ain't got time for that. Ain't got time for that because the people in my market ain't trying to hear that. Try and get something going. What are you doing? You know, right. Or I have a lot of people come to me, especially like I always tell this story.
Especially since the pandemic, right?
Yeah, I'm like, what are you doing? What you need to get the materials? But if you BS it now, what are you gonna do later? I don't trust that the light bulb is automatically gonna go off and you're gonna get it. I need you to be proven. I need you to be on this already. Because we ready to go. Like I said, I've got a whole bunch of dudes waiting on some beard oil.
Right.
I'm not going to direct them to you if you ain't about it. Because they just going to come back to me and be like, what's up with your man? I can't get my product.
Right.
You know? That's what... I'll say this too. You know what? And this might not be the most politically correct thing to say. But let's talk about hustler mentality. And I'm not talking about hustling as a scam. I'm talking about go-getters. You know, like... That is a trait, skill. Like you have to be passionate. You know, right. I always say there's a very fine line between a criminal mastermind and a Fortune 50 CEO, Fortune 500 CEO.
Right. I've heard this.
The skills are there. It's just what they did with their talents. But I've seen some criminals. I've seen some drug dealers, some dope boys who was about it. Like, dang, he wrong, but he on it.
He pushing.
And then you see the lazy ones. I used to have a friend, especially grow up. We used to joke with him all the time, like, man, you supposed to be selling weed and you keep smoking your own weed. It was like smoking from Friday.
Isn't there the whole don't get high on your own supply?
High on your own supply. It was smoking from Friday. Yeah. I knew who would do that. Be like, nah, man, I'm just take a little pig, No. So even at these levels, there's a certain level of drive, there's a certain level of integrity and stuff you need to have. If you can't get up for the thing that you're passionate about, if that doesn't move you and drive you to get going, what will? It will. And that's why I talk to people, and every month I check in on certain people, and they're in the same spot. Hey, did you file that paperwork? Did you come up with that concept? I've been, you know, man, I'm supposed to, but let me tell you what happened. Like, nah, man, you're not gonna do it.
You see, what had happened was
you're not serious. Done. Because there's 10 other people over here that are waiting for the phone call. They about it. So that's my thing. That's so. I know, man. We killing on time.
I really like this conversation because it needs to be had, because of this. Like, there are too many people out here scamming people that are trying to get their game up and trying to get the knowledge.
They're trying to get the knowledge. That's why I'm saying, like, it's important where you look for the knowledge. And that's okay. There's people out here. They out here. You can find them. Right. You know, or if you Google some of this stuff, you can get to it. Just Google it, y'all. Like, just start the research. And if you have questions, then get somebody who knows or ask somebody. If you're on Twitter looking for this stuff, then I'm telling you right now, that's not gonna be the move. So that's what I say. Even on Twitter, people hit me up and it was like, you started in the wrong spot. So I sent some links. And hopefully, like I told, I said, if you have, we here,
Yeah.
and I'm really not that service. I don't hit people over the head. I don't.
Right. I do. I remember hearing some things that you've said. It's like the fact that you go back and you check in on people to
Yeah, that's part
say,
of the
hey,
program.
how you doing? What are
You
you?
have to,
What's
yeah,
what's up with or how's your business going? Do you need anything from me? Like
yeah.
you
We
check in on people.
walk through the entire process, and not
Hmm.
only just with the business, but also like there's a leadership component to it.
Right.
To be a CEO, you have to become one. If it's not
Hmm.
already inside, there's things you can learn to do that. So like you have to sometimes you might have to change how you move and how you live.
Hmm.
Like that's important. So like we help with this stuff, and it's like I said, it's just that's because I remember I started the program because it was like I remember what it was like for me coming up taking my lumps, and I didn't
Hmm.
feel like there were people around that I could just immediately go to, or even if it was just a text or a message or a phone call to ask a
Hmm.
question. So I said, okay, that's part of the service. It has to be
Right.
part of the service. Reach out, and now we got people. I got people damn near all over the world. You somebody another language? I got somebody for that. You somebody another? Okay, you might not. I got somebody else for that. Like because we're
Mm.
helping. Because if not, we get these dumbass tweets,
Right.
and that's what's frustrating. Because it's like, and that's why I saw the responses from the people who know better.
Hmm.
They were frustrated.
Right.
Fam, you can't be telling people this. You going
Right. This is
messing
fraud. You
people
can
up?
go to
Yes,
jail.
you messing people up, and people literally hit me up because they believed it.
Hmm.
Man, I'm trying to get that 5K. Pump your brakes, fam. Let me tell you what's real. And I had to tell them that one person, I could tell they was kind of upset with me
Hmm.
because this is not about quick, get rich quick.
Right.
Not about
It
that.
takes time.
It takes time, and if you think it is, I would please urge you to not think like that and maybe do some research.
Right.
Don't get mad at the messenger. I try to tell you.
Don't kill the messenger.
Kill the messenger. We tried to tell you, but people were getting upset because they were hitting me up, and I had to tell them, hey, it's a little deeper than that, and they were frustrated because they thought it was going to be real quick. They thought they was getting 5K tomorrow.
Mm.
No, even if you do get 5K tomorrow, when the IRS comes knocking,
Mm.
you would I promise you you'd wish you regret getting that 5K because it's not going to be worth it. It would not be worth the headache you have to endure. 5K? It's barely the legal fees to fight it.
Hmm.
Barely the legal fees. You're going to need more than that to fight it. So if you get a 5K loan for some quick risk, get quick rich, whatever scheme, it's not even going to pay your legal fees. You're not going to pay that back.
Man.
I implore, ask anyone who's ever been audited before. Ask anyone
Hmm.
who's ever had to pay the IRS money and stuff like that, even on personal taxes.
Hmm.
Not a game. Not a game. You think your student loans is bad? Good luck with them.
Man.
Good luck with them. So yeah, man, it's real. I just implore people, especially if you on social media, you know, find the
Do
right
your
place,
research.
do your research, and at the end of the day, if you listen to this, hit me up. If not me, I can help at least point you in the right direction. For real, it's not about I don't
Hmm.
do that service to make money. Again, it's really about helping people navigate, helping our people navigate. And another thing I also know is because access to those resources and knowing where those resources are is very limited for us. So we need people to help us navigate that stuff. So
Right.
again, if not me, I do know some other people who whoever can help steer you in the right direction. But there is information out there, there's knowledge out there that can help you.
Hmm.
My first thought would be whatever state you're in, go to the state website and look at the requirements for starting a business in that state. That's where I would start, and then go from there. Okay. Um, so like I said, most states it's there. Um, either like Department of Labor or find a Chamber of Commerce or somewhere like that.
Hmm.
You can find it. That will be my first starting point. Yep.
Sounds good.
Yeah, man. But yeah, this stuff is crazy.
Hey, let's get into the Bobs and Karens of the
I know what.
world.
Yeah, what you got? Bobs and Karens. Man.
Yeah. Let's see. There was a Karen that was. Ooh, let's talk about this one.
What they
Did
do?
you see? Did you see? There was one Karen. Her shed was being repossessed. Did you see that one?
I don't think I did. I think I missed that one.
Yo. Okay. So
Shit.
her whole shed was being repossessed because you guys know repossession.
Yep. She
So
ain't that long.
and dude like already had it in the truck and uh Karen she was trying to like plead with the dude and she was like dude was like sorry you didn't
You ain't getting that back.
right and she was really trying to she was really trying to flex that privilege but dude wasn't having it.
No, you're not. Yeah, like you're not getting that back. Once it's on the truck,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they have the right. Yep.
Right.
Good luck with
And
that.
then
Oh,
there was another one that I saw actually today. Uh Hold up real quick. Today's the
the
4th.
fourth. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So there was one lady that claimed she was in some store. I don't know which store it was, but she was claiming that the owner was harassing her and the dude was really just asking questions like it was I mean honestly like there wasn't a lot of context within the video, so yeah. And
Yeah.
then the biggest one that I saw this week was there were a couple cops that were trying to they were like apparently they like had luggage and they were like trying to get an Uber, but I really don't know what they were trying to do. They were like trying to trap people or something, or like apparently it was like an investigation and I guess they were trying to like coerce people to trying to give them a ride. And one dude saw them and he was like, "Hey yo, these people, nah, they're trying to they're trying to like trap you
They probably yeah. They
because
probably
they tried to trap me."
yeah. Yeah, I could see that because they do stuff like that.
Yeah,
Man, yeah. Here we go.
it's hard out. It's
Another,
hard out here.
another week. Got him.
Just another week,
Yep.
and it's
So
only the first week of the. Oh yeah, by the way, Happy New Year, y'all.
yeah, Happy New Year. Yep. First week, and we already. It ain't gonna stop. I mean, the calendar may change, but Bob's and Karens is gonna be there, yo.
Yep.
They're gonna be there. Thanks for giving us our segment. Something to
I
laugh
can't
about.
believe that I like what's crazy is that like I thought of this segment only because like it started happening so often.
Yeah, because we
So
start.
I was just like, okay, we got to talk about this
Let's talk about it.
because this is happening way too often and it shouldn't be happening.
Yeah, and the funny thing was, back in the day before we started recording all this, these were the conversations that Black people had amongst each other.
Right.
Like, hey, yo, you heard about that crazy white girl? Like, heard about that crazy white? We talk about that. Like, yeah, because and now people are starting to see the world is starting to see it. Like, because
Right.
sometimes we would tell these stories to each other,
Mm-hmm.
and even within our our community, sometimes we would think we'd be lying to each other.
Yeah.
Oh, you really swelling on that when you really like. I know you over the top with it. You add, but no,
UOC.
yeah, you really OC, you OD with it. Like, no, now y'all see we telling these stories exactly like they were. These people out here
Right.
are really crazy. Like,
Right.
we ain't have, we don't have to embellish our stories.
Right.
Being Black,
We
man,
don't.
I have stories for days. I'm about to write this book. All of it's facts because I don't have to. Like, this stuff is really crazy.
It is. It really is.
It's funny, like, Darius. Me and Darius tell stories, and it's like,
Shouts to Darius, man.
shout out to Darius. And people really like that happened. Yes, we were together. These things happen. Can't make this stuff up. And people really think that like we really tell stories. Like, no, these are facts. These things happen. These people, yeah.
Hey, go back to the episode with Darius. Y'all will see what we're talking about.
Telling and one day, I always say, one day, me and him, like, one day I just want to sit down and like some of these stories had to be told.
Mm-hmm.
Like, some of these things had to be told. I'm gonna sit down and like really talk about some of these stories one day. And people just won't believe. And I'm pretty sure I know black folk. I know y'all got crazy stories too. Just because the stuff we have to endure, the stuff we've seen,
Right.
is just so out of this world.
Right. And I see it, and I'm just like, wait, hold on. Why is this happening to me? Like, how did I get in this situation? How, like, what just happened?
Yeah, it's crazy. I think for us, it's sad, but it's everyday life.
It really is.
The world, it's like, what the hell? You know? But for us,
Honestly.
it's like, man, that was Monday. Like,
Yep.
let me tell you about Tuesday. Like, that's just how it goes. So yeah, man, we're gonna find a way to tell these stories. So
Right. Like we always say, the goal at the end of the day is to get home.
at home. And then you tell the
And
stories so we can laugh about
it. Absolutely. Thank y'all for rocking with us for the year. And hopefully we have a lot more stuff to talk. We want to have a lot more conversations this year.
Yeah, and got some conversations in the works, but like, you know, this year, you know, in terms of the show, we're gonna have a good year. We're gonna hear, you know, like every year we've been progressing, hitting some real topics, and this year is gonna be no different. So,
right.
like I said, thank you for rocking with us. Thank you for watching, supporting us.
Right. And shouts to Black Squirrel Media.
Shout out to the Black Squirrel Media Network. You can check us out, all of our shows, podcasts, YouTube channels. We got a nice variety going over there. That might be something you'd like to check out. You know, this podcast, along with the other.
If this podcast isn't for you, we have other shows that might be
shows, you know, and the Black Squirrel Media Network is really all about connecting our Black creators, you know, our Black digital content creators, and providing a space for them to be able to grow and learn, and how we can help each other out. So if you're looking for more information, you can check us out, www.blacksquirrelmedia.com. You log a list of shows there. And again, even for this show, Community Coalition Show, you can check us out at www.communitycoalitionshow.com.
You can check us out on Twitter. We have a Facebook page. We have an Instagram.
Yep. And even, and even the YouTube. So if you're watching this, you can watch the YouTube, listen to the podcast on all the platforms, on the website, and continue to rock with us, y'all. We're gonna be here. We ain't going nowhere.
Come to Black Squirrel.
Come to Black Squirrel, y'all. So with that being said,
if you like podcasts and you don't like people with all the sponsors talking all up in the video, come to Black Squirrel.
Come to Black Squirrel. You gotta do it in the Suge Knight voice. Yeah. You don't want all up in the podcast, all up in the videos. I don't know. This is a reference. I know kids may not know.
No, they know that if you're listening to this podcast, you know the reference.
You know the Suge Knight, was it Source Awards? Reference where he got up and was like
Source Awards.
It was the Source Awards. Yeah, we talking about all up in the producer, all up in the video. Come to Death Row. Like that was the joint. We was literally scared of that man for real.
Yep, still am.
Yeah. So, he got how old is he? Gotta be old. He got cane and stuff. I'm still scared of him.
I don't care. I'm still scared.
On that note, y'all. Till next week, we out. Peace.